Good morning, explorers, and welcome to More to Explore. And let's kick off the week right with a little puppy love. And these aren't just any puppies, they are future service dogs for our veterans. And in honor of Veterans Day, we're highlighting one of our nonprofit partners, Warrior Canine Connection, and saying some other incredible wildlife stories from around the world. My name is Brian Bird, and joining me today is our resident naturalist, Mike Fitz. Mike, good morning.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you happen to be around the world. I'm happy to be here once again. And if you are new to the Explore.org community, then welcome to you. And of course, welcome back to all of our longtime viewers. We have about 180 live cameras all over the world, so there's always something to watch. We want to know what you think of the program today. If you have questions for us, for Brian and I, we're live, so send those comments and questions in the chats. And specifically, because we dealt with so much stress over the last few months in the United States, especially with the election, and maybe you're feeling post-election stress as well. I'm wondering maybe if you could tell us why you watch the cams. Are you curious about nature? Do you do it to relax? Towards the end of the program, maybe we can share some of those comments. But yeah, as Brian mentioned, we have a lot to share during the program today. And today is Veterans Day in the United States and Remembrance Day in Canada. And as many of us who are watching know, connecting with and interacting with certain animals, especially dogs, can help us cope with stress and trauma. And the Warrior Canine Connection are the cameras that we're watching right now. They're based in Maryland. They focus specifically on training Golden and Labrador retrievers as service dogs to help veterans. And the organization does more than simply pairing a dog with a veteran. The training process they use is called mission-based trauma recovery. They enlist military service members and veterans to help train the dogs before the dogs are put into service. So in this way, the act of dog training can help center the emotions of the trainers and help them in their journeys long before the dog is placed with a veteran in need. And we do have a short video to share more about the Warrior Canine Connection that is narrated by our very own Charlie Annenberg. So let's take a look at that.
Warrior Canine Connection is a magical place, a place where healing and transformation occurs between service animals and wounded combat vets. The Explore.org team visited Warrior Canine Connection on Graduation Day, a special day where trained service dogs celebrate their new life with paired veterans. The journey for a service dog takes 2 years, and what makes it so unique is that wounded vets themselves train the animals, giving the vets a sense of purpose and mission. Knowing that their best friend, the dog, will be guarding and caring for a wounded soldier every single day. To learn more about Warrior Canine Connection, visit their website. Support veterans, support service dogs, support America. Never stop learning. Explore.org.
And if you want to see the latest generation of puppies who will become future companions of veterans, then please check out the Warrior Canine Connection webcams, where we can look at like the whelping room cam, where think the name of the dog is pronounced Jelaine. She has a litter of 4 boys and 4 girls that were born on October 26th. And then on the nursery cam, Amanda had a litter of 3 boys and 3 girls on October 29. They have other dogs who are pregnant and will give birth in late November, in early December. Brian, for me, this is one of those cameras that you can go to, I think, consistently and find, hey, this is a real place to relax, no matter what maybe what's going on that day for any of our viewers. This is definitely a cam to check out if you need some solace.
Oh, 100%. As I like to say, the little potatoes, and you can see the little dream twitching and all the little tiny big stretches. It's definitely one that I come to on the regular.
I love that. Yeah, that's a good term, potatoes. I hadn't used that before, but I will going forward now. And you can learn more, as Charlie mentioned in the video, about Canine Connection at their website, which is warriorcanineconnection.org. They also have a ton of great stories available to watch on their YouTube channel. I was actually binge watching many of those this weekend, where they talk to people who got dogs from Warrior Canine Connection, and you get to hear from the veterans themselves about what these animals mean to their life. So it is a real pick me up if you're looking for that. And we want to thank all of our veterans, of course, for their service and sacrifice. Brian, I think everyone needs animals in their life, whether we realize it or not. And it's really a joyful thing to see how dogs can help people in need. And we did get a comment from one of our viewers about the question I asked everybody off the top of the program. Camping Knitter wrote in and said that they watch for all of the above, everything. They're interested in nature and seeing animals and environments I would not see otherwise. It gives me hope to see so many people care about the environment. And Brian, I think you share that sentiment as well. All of us at Explode.org. That's one of the things that keeps me going, to be honest with everybody, is knowing that we have this community of people around the world who care for these animals and wildlife very deeply.
Oh, 100%. Definitely.
And we'll share, I think, some more of these comments in just a little bit. We want to transition, though, to some of the other things that have been happening on Explode.org over the past several weeks. It's been a few weeks since we've given this program, so there's a lot to talk about. And Brian, the polar bear season is still kicking up in Churchill, Manitoba.
Yeah, definitely on the opposite side of animals that are definitely harder to get to in person. The polar bears are still waiting for the sea ice. We have a couple clips from just a couple days ago that they are on the coast waiting for the sea ice to freeze. But yeah, we've been getting a lot of amazing clips this season.
Yeah, we're nearing the end of the polar bear season on Explode.org. Yet as you mentioned, there's a ton to see so far. Hudson Bay is still largely free of ice, so bears remain on the shore where we can see them rest and play as they anticipate the return of sea ice. And polar bears are ice bears. Their populations can't survive long term without sea ice because that is the platform that they need to hunt their preferred prey, which are seals. But they also utilize a keen knowledge of individual habitats throughout the Arctic, much of which is knowledge unique to certain groups of bears. And I bring this up because a couple of weeks ago, I co-hosted a Bears of North America live chat with Elisa McCall from Polar Bears International and Jennifer Cardiac from the Tongass National Forest. We talked about brown bears, we talked about polar bears, we talked about black bears, and we ran short on time during the program. So I couldn't talk to my co-hosts about bear culture, which I wanted to because I think it's a fascinating topic. Each bear population possesses a unique culture. And remember that culture is a learned phenomenon. It is transmitted from one generation to the next. And female polar bears do this too. Female polar bears in Hudson Bay, for example, utilize dens that can be more than 60 miles inland from Hudson Bay. And some of these dens might be more than 200 years old. This is where they go to give birth and nurse their newborn cubs until the cubs are strong enough to journey to the sea ice. Knowledge of where this denning habitat is located isn't something that bears intuit out of thin air. It's something that they learn from their experience with their mother. So in other words, it is part of their culture. So you're seeing again with the polar bears in Churchill, on the tundra, you're looking again at bears with a unique culture in their own way. We also want to thank everybody who participated in the polar bear scavenger hunt during polar bear season on explore.org. We had about 78 entries, I think, which might be a record high for this event. And those of you who were successful in the scavenger hunt are eligible for a prize from explore.org. So look for an email from us about that for everybody who participated. Thanks to everybody who did that. We'll be sure to bring back the event next polar bear season. Finally, concerning polar bears, on Wednesday, and the Polar Bears International is hosting one of their last live chats on explore.org this year. It's about how conversations can help support conservation. And we really need that now, given the state of the climate, the fact that we're forcing the atmosphere to warm further, and the political realities of the United States, especially. Polar bears in Western Hudson Bay now spend about a month longer on land compared to the 1980s, and their population has declined by about half as a result of lower reproductive success. So you can watch the program on the Tundra Connections channel on explore.org. You can ask a moderator for the link to the program on YouTube. As polar bears anticipate the return of winter and sea ice in Hudson Bay, though, other animals are experiencing a different set of changes in their lives. Bald eagles across much of the southern half of North America are reaffirming their pair bonds. They're feeling a slow increase in their reproductive hormones, and they're preparing for nesting in late winter and early spring. And Brian, you were able to get some information from our field team at explore.org. They were recently at Catalina Island in California to work on the West End bald eagle cam nest.
Yeah, definitely. I'd always like to give a shout out to our crew going out whenever they're doing their thing in the field. And now, of course, as we're gearing up for eagle season next year, this is the time where everyone's out doing all the maintenance and all the upgrades. So we had some behind the scenes footage. We have Joe and BJ here and some of the crew, including Dr. Peter Sharp with the Institute for Wildlife Studies out on Catalina growing up. And just wanted to give you a quick idea of just how remote some of these places are. Hiking, everything is solar powered here, and some of what everybody has to do. And of course, BJ here cleaning the cam, making sure everything is squeaky clean for it. And one of the greatest clips that they sent back was, of course, on the boat ride coming home. They saw a whole pod of dolphins. So it was super, super cool to see.
Oh, cool.
I'm glad they got to see it. And I'm happy that they got to share it with all of us. But Mike, as far as
I am too.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying I am very happy they were able to share that with us too. It's always a joy to see, dolphins. It's just amazing animals.
Definitely. And as we're getting up for eagle season here on the West Coast, Mike, that's definitely not all the eagle news that we have.
No, certainly not. We want to thank our webcam partner, of course, on the project for the West End Nest on Catalina Island, which is the Institute for Wildlife Studies. But our other camera partners have been working hard as well. We have our nest in Decorah, Iowa. Specifically, the Decorah North Bald Eagle Cam in Decorah, Iowa is set to give us some amazing views of eagles nesting again this year. And this camera now captures footage in 4K resolution. So I think we can expect some incredibly crisp, clear footage of this pair of eagles going forward. And let's not forget that the status of the Decorah North nest and our ability to continue to watch them was in question earlier this year. This pair successfully raised 2 eaglets in 2024, and they fledged from the nest, but their nest collapsed in late June. So luckily that happened after the eaglets were able to fly and move about, and they were somewhat or mostly independent. The experts working for our webcam partner, Raptor Resource Project, they were optimistic that the Decorah North eagles would maintain their claim on this territory, and importantly for us, use a human-constructed nest platform. So in August, the Raptor Resource Project staff used a truck equipped with a boom lift to install the foundation of a new nest. This was supported by a custom-designed replacement branch. The new support branch was made out of lumber that they anchored to the tree. Once the additional supports were in place, they filled the nest bowl with branches and mulch to create an inviting place for the Decorah North eagles. Now we're seeing the rewards of that effort. The pair has been busy remodeling the nest to their particular specifications. The behavior, which has been nicknamed nest duration, likely helps eagles affirm their pair bonds and get ready to lay their eggs in February. So there's a lot going on during this process, rather than just bringing sticks to the nest. There's flirting going on. There's the male showing off his fitness through his nest building skills. So if you have the opportunity, this is a great cam to watch these eagles get their home prepared for the next generation of birds coming up soon.
Yeah, definitely another example of all the hard work of our nonprofit partners. And as we await nesting season, there's actually so many other special moments that we see on Explore. There's always something for everybody. And speaking of the Decor North Camp, before the Eagles were there, we caught just this beautiful clip of a woodpecker.
Yeah, this is just a great view. This is a pileated woodpecker, if you're not familiar with this species. One of the woodpeckers that's sort of inspired Woody Woodpecker, if you are familiar with that cartoon. This is North America's largest extant woodpecker. So it's North America's largest woodpecker species currently. They are excavators. They peck cavities into wood looking for large insects, such as carpenter ants and beetle larvae. And if you've walked through the forest and maybe seen a tree that looks like it's just obliterated by a woodpecker, probably was pileated, and you can find them throughout many forested regions across especially much of eastern North America. Their empty nests are cavities that are important homes for other birds to nest in, so you might find some like saw-whet owls in them, for example, or screech owls using those nest cavities. And also even small mammals such as flying squirrels, they may use their nest cavities for places of shelter. So great look at our woody woodpecker here. And as we near the end of our program today, we wanted to encourage everyone at Exploded.org to share different reasons to investigate nature and find solace either in the webcams or maybe out in nature in person. And at the beginning of the program, I asked everyone to share why they watch Exploded.org, and we did get a few more examples. Cat Nerd wrote in and said, as a vet with PTSD, I watched the cams to escape the stress, anxiety, and worry about what is to come. Nature is a reminder that the world moves on and there is still so much beauty that remains. So yeah, well said, Kat. Thank you very much for sharing your story. April Owl wrote in and said, I love nature and began to watch Exploded.org for the wonderful live cams from around the world. And expertise of kindred spirits helps me get through difficult times too. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing that, April. And then TAW Cat wrote in and said, I love Exploded.org, provides a window into the world of nature, such a great educational tool to learn from. So yeah, we can find solace. We can find opportunities to learn from each other on the cameras. And that's one of the things that always brings me back to Exploded.org. Observing nature gives me the opportunity to find solace, but connecting with people around the world who, share in this community is really important as well. And Brian, you lined up some clips that you thought showcased reasons to watch the cams, either if people are curious or observe the playfulness of animals, or maybe simply find relaxation among times of stress.
Yeah, definitely. First up, I just, definitely one on the other side of the world in Africa, where I'm here, in North America, just seeing the wonder of different animals you don't see every day, like this baby elephant. And just sometimes the curiosity of baby elephants trying to figure out their trunks, playing with their ears, and this one specifically playing around with a branch, just really, really brightens my day every time I see it.
Me too. When you watch young elephants too, they're very much like human children, trying to figure things out on their own. Their motor skills are, get better and better with, each passing year. But they still got to figure it out. Especially if you get a chance on the cams to see a very young elephant, you can tell that they're just not very good at using their trunk. It's almost like kind of watching a toddler learn how to walk. So that, yeah, I can't agree with you more.
Yeah, and then here's another one from Africa as well. This just a quick clip of a rolling leopard, something you don't really get to see every day. And when you do get to see him on the live cams, it really is truly special.
Right. Yeah. Leopards inhabit, the areas where we have many of our live cams in Africa, but it's always really special to see them. And they are curious. Sometimes, we'll see big cats staring right into the cameras. We talk about curiosity. That's a motivation for us to watch these cameras, because I have never seen a wild leopard in person. I've never been to Africa, but I get these opportunities to see and learn about the lives of these individuals and these species through these cameras, which is a really amazing thing.
Definitely. And speaking of hard places to get, the next one is very deep underwater, where we get to see sharks, where I will never be going in person for sure.
I would consider it if I knew how to dive, but I don't. So, but I love the shark cam. So this comes to us from our partner at the Frying Pan Tower off the coast of North Carolina. And this is one of my go-to cams, especially outside of the brown bear season in Katmai, where you can watch barracuda and sand tiger sharks and a bunch of other fish species just hanging out underneath the structure of the Frying Pan Tower, which is a decommissioned Coast Guard light station that's now privately owned as a nonprofit. So yeah, this is one where it gives us, Brian, the underwater cameras give us this window into a part of Earth that's largely inaccessible to humans because we can't breathe underwater. We need specialized equipment and training to get to these places if we're going to go dive. But again, the cameras are one of those windows that allow us to share it with people around the world. So, in fact, I was at a family gathering this weekend, and I was like, "What sort of garbage are we watching on TV? Let's try to put on an Explore cam." So I was able at least to divert the family conversation for a half hour by putting on cameras like this.
Definitely. I love that idea. And definitely switching up from curiosity, sometimes we just need some, some playful fun and some cuteness in our life. And if it's not a puppy cam or a kitten cam, if you're at nighttime in North America, there's always the panda cams, which never disappoint.
Absolutely. If you are, just looking to have, footage of animals having fun doing from our perspective what we would consider silly things, yeah, check out the panda cams. It's always a treat.
And then moving on, just if you just need some a camera to relax, and this next clip, I promise it is a video, even though how still it is. We don't have a lot of fall colors in Los Angeles where I'm from, but so I love to see these different cameras from around where you just get to see the beautiful change of the season. And like this example, the clip is properly named Mirror Pond because it's just that.
Yeah, this comes to us from Mission Mountain in Montana, and yeah, there's it's sort of like these Zen den cams that we have. We have many of them that are quite relaxing. So that's yet another reason. And I know some of our audience mentioned that already, that they come to the cameras for an opportunity to relax. So we have cameras like this. The Redwood Forest is a favorite of mine, the underwater cameras as well. And Brian, I think you had one more clip of a very relaxing scene from, I think, closer to your area of North America.
Yeah, this is just off the coast where we see some of the kelp forests and, excuse me, where another example of an underwater cam where this, if you really having like trouble sleeping, this is definitely one that I relax to before bedtime, where you can just see the motion of the waves and the current and some fish and seals that from time to time. Definitely relaxing to have not so much stillness in a relaxing cam.
The audio from our underwater cameras, I find too, is quite relaxing. So you get that sort of like that gurgling noise of the water. So I enjoy that as well. And yeah, the cameras off the coast of California, the underwater cameras that we have on the channel in the Channel Islands region are really quite amazing.
Definitely. And those are the cameras that we wanted to highlight today. So again, please share your favorite cams and the reasons why you like to connect with them. But first, I do want to share the all of the events that are coming up this week, starting tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Now it was 7 a.m., but now with the time change, these shows are now at 6 a.m. with the Africam show. If you feel like going on a live virtual safari, and then we have two Polar Bears International events wrapping up the season for this week for their live events. We have Tata from the Tundra Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. And then we have Chats for Change, as Mike was mentioning earlier, on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And then we have our Wild Moment show on Thursday. That is a typo. Sorry, it is at 6 a.m. Pacific and 9 a.m. Eastern, where we get to see all the best clips from the week from the Africam cameras. And to also keep up to date with all of the best clips, including our latest YouTube video talking about polar bear moms, follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms, including our main YouTube channel, Explore Live Nature Cams. And Mike, as far as following us on social media, how else can people get involved with explore.org?
Of course, we want you, to join us in the conversations, in the chats. But if you have some time, some extra time, maybe a couple hours a week, we'd love to see if you wanted to volunteer with us. A lot of the magic at explore.org is really done by our volunteer camera operators and our moderators. So if you have a favorite cam, maybe you want to help drive it from time to time, we have positions available as a camera operator, or if you can devote a little bit of time to helping moderate webcam comments, we welcome that help as well. So if you're interested in becoming a volunteer, go to explore.org/volunteer, fill out the form there, and we'll get back to you with more information.
Fantastic. And that is all the time that we have for this show today. I want to give everyone who has been a part of the Explorer community just a heartfelt thank you for joining us today and every single day. And we're going to leave you with more highlights with the puppy cams as they're starting to become a little more active. Definitely go check out our partners, Warrior Canine Connection, and the puppy cams there. I want to give a special thank you to our volunteer moderators and camera operators, and a special thank you to my co-host, Mike Fix. And join us again November 25th for another episode of More to Explore, and next Monday for another episode of Drawn to Explore. And until then, happy exploring.